Memorial Park at Camden Yards, it's the New York Mets against the Baltimore Orioles. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Cadillac. Visit CadillacTristate.com for exceptional offers. By Verizon, the most awarded network is now the best streaming network. By Citi, proud partner of the New York Mets. And by Good Humor, the official ice cream of the New York Mets. Another beautiful day on the harbor in Baltimore as the Orioles and the Ravens celebrate some Hall of Famers here in this great city. Cal Ripken Jr. and Ray Lewis, part of the fabric here in Baltimore. And it's a very, very nice evening for baseball as folks make their way to Eutaw Street to pay a visit to Eddie Murray, the former Oriole great and a former New York Met as well. Alongside Keith Hernandez, I'm Wayne Randazzo in for Gary Cohen tonight. And Keith, a change in the Mets lineup tonight. Ahmed Rosario has the night off, so Brandon Nimmo returns to the top of the Mets order where he's had some success.
Well, he has had some success, not so much with the batting average, only hitting 248 as you see right there in the graphic, but the on-base percentage, which is so important at the top of the order. Rosario has not done well in the leadoff role there. You see that's not going to get it done when you have an average of 191 and only get on base 240% of the time. But I have an issue with if Rosario could become more, if he can just become more disciplined at the plate and take more pitches. I haven't got an issue. You always want a left-hand hitter in that 2 spot. Nimmo's a left-hand hitter. You want speed at the top. Those two guys bring you that, and I think that's a possibility for the future.
Nimmo and Rosario trying to get going while Zach Wheeler has gotten going. 5 consecutive victories for Wheeler. The Mets 6-0 in his last 6 starts, Keith.
Well, I mean, he has just really turned the corner. Another great start. His last time out, his command is there. That has been the big difference. The fastball has always been a big plus for him, but now he's getting his secondary pitches over, and he has been absolutely dominant.
Well, Dylan Bundy will be Wheeler's opponent tonight. Bundy has allowed a major league leading 29 home runs. Keith, when you face a guy like this, you're lacing him up, right?
Well, it seems that way. There was an article in the paper today that he either walks guys or gets it over the middle of the plate and gives up the home run. 29 home runs, leads the majors. He won 10 games his first year with the Orioles and 13 last year. It's been a tough slog for him this year.
A former first-round pick, Dylan Bundy, up against Zach Wheeler tonight. Adam Jones enjoying Baltimore for now. We'll see how much longer he's an Oriole as the Mets and Orioles play here tonight. Enjoy a Mets game at Citi Field. Your Coca-Cola value pack includes a Mets game ticket, a Nathan's Famous hot dog, and a Coca-Cola soft drink. Purchase your Coca-Cola value pack starting at just $15 today at Mets.com/value pack. Play your favorite games at Resorts World Catskills to enter the Imagine a Million giveaway. Win luxury prizes all summer with one player taking home $1 million guaranteed. Get to Citi Field Saturday, August 25th, and the Mets take on the Washington Nationals at 4:05 p.m. The first 25,000 fans in attendance will receive a Jay Bruce bobblehead, courtesy of Toyota. Purchase tickets at Mets.com/tickets. It's time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Nobody built better than Ronald Acuna Jr. right now. He became the youngest player in Major League history to hit a home run in 5 straight games yesterday. 20 years old, 239 days. He has 8 home runs in his last 8 games, and in each of the last 3, he's hit a leadoff homer. No National League player has ever done that. It's a beautiful night for baseball in Baltimore. We'll have the Mets and Orioles in their series finale coming up. All the placards out there on the street from the home runs that have landed beyond the right field fence here at Camden Yards. A very nice setting for a baseball game here in Baltimore. We bring you tonight's Geico Mets starting lineup. We mentioned Brandon Nimmo in the leadoff spot, playing in right field. Todd Frazier gets the DH duty today. Frazier riding a 7-game hitting streak, and Jose Reyes back in there playing shortstop tonight.
Well, there's the former #1 draft pick, 4th pick in the country in 2011 from Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's been a tough year for him. There's his Toyota numbers. But nevertheless, with a team that's lost 84 ball games, he's won 7 games. So his record is not really that bad, considering the ball club he's playing behind him.
We are underway in Baltimore as Dylan Bundy fires low for ball 1. There's Buck Showalter, the longtime skipper here in Baltimore. Managed a lot of their best days over the last decade. And now managing some of their worst ones.
Well, you see Bundy right now, off the good get-go throwing 89, 90. They say he's been real short on his fastball.
Nimmo takes a strike from Bundy. As Keith mentioned, a first-round pick, number 4 overall in 2011. That was a good draft. Brandon Nimmo was in that draft as well in the first round.
Bundy's 25 years of age, too. He's young.
He was a high school pick and maybe one of the most accomplished high school pitchers to ever get drafted. He was a 3-time state player of the year. He won every national award his senior year. We look back to 2011, Anthony Rendon, Javier Baez, Lindor, Springer.
Oh boy.
The late Jose Fernandez.
Trevor Story, and that's a tremendous year.
And Garrett Cole number 1, Bauer number 3. Nimmo looking for that right field corner, but he hooked it.
Well, that's been an issue right there. We've mentioned the top 29 home runs this year by Bundy leads the major leagues, and his splits are stark. 211 right-hand hitters, but they've hit 17 home runs off him. But the left-handers are feasting at 297 off of Bundy.
Full count on Nimmo. 29 home runs. That's a big, big number. 4 of them in one game earlier this season.
He had a start against Boston in July that he gave up 3 home runs, and it was canceled because of rain, so it was knocked off the board.
Brandon Nimmo is aboard to start the top of the first.
Well, the Mets are trying to avoid a 4-game sweep, a seasonal sweep against the Orioles this year. There he goes out there, just a little flick of the wrist. Brandon continues to get on base. Even when Brandon doesn't get hits, Wayne, he gets on via the walk. He's always in the mix. He's always in part of an inning that develops into a run, or he scores a run. Yep.
Check on Nimmo at first with Jeff McNeil at the plate.
Well, Brandon's look how wide, and he kind of squats down. No stride. And I think you lose a little bit of your hip rotation when you're that spread out. I would like to see him bring his feet a little closer together.
What will that accomplish for him, Keith?
More hip rotation, but the problem is, it's what he's done his whole life. Is he going to feel comfortable doing that? That would be something for him if he wanted to do that, make that adjustment. That's something he would do in the offseason. Get familiar with it.
Nimmo's running. McNeil with the hit and run through the left side. Nimmo takes off for third. He'll make it. And the Mets take a page out of a playbook they don't use very often. The hit and run from McNeil works perfectly.
Well, they didn't have the personnel to do it. This club was built to hit home runs. And you've got a guy like McNeil who can handle the bat. And as I said in the open, it's good to have a left-hand hitter in the 2-hole because it blocks the catcher's view, potential steal of the leadoff hitter, who's usually fast. With Nimmo, you have that. And you can hit and run with someone that can handle the bat. Mets are in business.
So the Mets with a first and third opportunity for Wilmer Flores. Flores has heated up again this month a bit, batting .291 so far in August.
It's been kind of a quiet 291, though. It hasn't been like Wilmer's been raging hot.
Flores sends this one in the air to right center. Mullins a long run. He gets to it, but an easy tag and score for Nimmo. McNeil tries for second. He makes it. So Wilmer Flores gets one in the air. And the Mets have the first run of the night. They lead 1-0.
Well, good base running. Here's the swing. Ball up in the strike zone. Long way to run for Mullins, and Mullins has showed now in both first and second game now this series. Good base running here. Does not have a strong arm. And McNeil takes advantage here. Realizes it's going to be caught. Gets back and tags. Makes it easily. Well done.
It's now Michael Conforto, the batter. Let's get their first two men on. One has already scored against Dylan Bundy. He pops in a strike to Conforto. Bundy was on the disabled list for a couple of weeks because of a sprained ankle, and since then has had an ERA above 7.5 since returning.
He's given up 9 home runs, Bundy, in his last 4 starts.
This one will be out of play.
And the defensive infield for the O's. Austin Wins behind the plate, gets the start. Chris Davis hit the home run last night. This is not a real great defensive squad here. The one standout, Adam Jones, of course, the 4-time Gold Glover in center, just recently moved to right. And they say that Cedric Mullins can go get him in center.
Conforto doesn't bite on the breaking ball from Bundy. Referencing all the home runs Bundy has allowed, 13 of them with men on base. That's the most in the majors as well. Gave up 4 in a start against the Royals on May 8th without recording an out. That had never happened before in Major League history. Conforto bidding for extra bases, way out in front of that. Conforto got shut down last night with an 0 for 4, but still batting above 300 since the All-Star break.
Bundy's motion here. Look at his arm action. He kind of goes stiff arm in the back, way behind his backside, and has to come all the way across. Very unusual delivery. You can see it on the center field camera, folks, on this pitch here. Watch his arm action. It really comes behind his back side.
Good pitch there, down and away from Conforto as Bundy gets his first strikeout.
Watch the arm here again. Look at how he stiffens it out, and almost he cups it. He curls his wrist, something that Ron Darling, my colleague, Wayne's colleague, said he had a habit that he had to break early in his career in the minor leagues.
I call pitchers who do that tuckers. They tuck the ball behind him. There's Todd Frazier running a 7-game hitting streak. His longest in a Mets uniform. Curveball drops in from Bundy. I told you Bundy drafted in 11. He was in the big leagues at the end of 2012. 2013, Tommy John surgery. 14 and 15 were lost years. So this was a very talented young man that is trying to work his way back into being the type of pitcher he was supposed to be. That's the trouble, high school pitchers. That's why a lot of teams don't like to draft them, because you never really know what you're going to get from a guy who pitched as much as Bundy did, as young as he did, and threw as hard as he did.
Well, the other side of the coin is Dwight Gooden, of course, who came out of high school and turned into that great pitcher that he became. I don't know enough about pitching. I know one thing, that my father was always worried about overworking pitchers and hurting their arms. In Little League, when he coached Little League, he was very cautious with the kids. They'd only had one starter. We played 2 games a week. He only started 1 game a week.
Todd Frazier throws his bat at it. That might drop in. It does. A base hit for Frazier on a bloop shot over Davis's head. Scores McNeil. And the Mets grab 2 in the first. Frazier has an 8-game hitting streak.
Well, you'll take them any way you can get them. And this is, can't put it any better, obviously. Completely fooled on the pitch. And comes out smelling like a rose. That's living right.
Sometimes you just got to hit them where they ain't.
That's true. Better to be lucky than good. There's a whole bunch of old sayings for that.
Runner going, and the catcher wins, drops the ball. Frazier gets a stolen base. He's 7 for 8 in stolen base tries this year.
You can sneak him, and that's what he does. He's a very heady player, Todd Frazier.
Three hits in the inning, all singles, couple of runs. Austin Jackson trying to keep it going, looks at a strike. That ball gets away from Wins. Frazier could have advanced, but
wow. How could have, would have, should have. Wow. I mean, usually Todd's very aggressive. I mean, even watch, you'll see him on the bases here, and he kind of vapor locks. Okay, I made a mistake, boo-boo here. And he still could have gone right there. And he knew it. You saw the grimace.
Probably could have still gone after he realized he should have gone.
Yes.
Jackson, a late swing, fooled by that breaking ball, but he stays alive.
I mean, this wild pitch is, this is a no-doubter right here. I mean, that's an advance if you advance. But, you know, things happen. And the catcher just kind of, he had his back to the play. He said, well, shoot, I'm not going to throw anybody out. Surprise, surprise.
Long first inning for Dylan Bundy. 27 pitches already. Nothing quite like the 181 he threw in a high school doubleheader at one point.
That should never happen. Never happen.
So it was his idea. He thought pitching that long would make him stronger in the long run. Didn't quite work out that way for Dylan Bundy.
And he's very erratic so far early with his breaking ball. Usually when you got pitchers that give up a lot of home runs, they usually don't have a good breaking ball, or they make too many mistakes with the breaking ball.
Already 7 foul balls in this first inning against Dylan Bundy. A couple of them here from Austin Jackson.
It's taking forever to pitch.
Gets the fastball by Jackson to end the inning. And for Dylan Bundy, racked up a lot of pitches, 29 in the top of the first. The Mets get a couple of runs for Zach Wheeler. Adam Jones bats in the 3-hole once again. Hit a home run last night. So did Chris Davis. So did Tim Beckham. 3 Baltimore homers against the Mets yesterday.
Well, there's Big Zach. Boy, he has become a powerhouse here in the National League. His Land Rover numbers, he has really turned it on. That ERA sinking, getting below 4. Oh, that's a right from the get-go. We have a cross-up with nobody on base, one sign.
Well, I don't think it was a cross-up so much as that maybe the bat of VR got in the way of Plawecki's sightline.
The bat got in the line of his vision.
Cost Wheeler a strike. That was right down the middle. I don't know if VR did that on purpose or if that was just lucky.
It was just lucky.
That bat was right in front of his face, so Zach Wheeler missed the opportunity to get strike one. But he's gotten 2 strikes after that, as Wheeler has really just been peppering in strikes for the last month and a half or so.
He's been pitching with predominantly with his fastball, which you just saw was 98. He is one of the harder throwers in the league.
Little dribbler foul off the bat of VR.
And what's been the key to Zach's success is that earlier, remember when he had no command, he certainly had no command of his secondary pitches, and he had a tough time with his fastball. And they were trying to get him to throw 3-1 as the years passed. It's all changed with Dave Island, the pitching coach right there. He's got him to throw his fastball, get his rhythm, and then everything else falls into place. And that's been the key to Zach's success.
He's throwing that fastball really harder than he ever has, especially since coming back from Tommy John surgery. And he's gained velocity as the season has gone on.
Yep. He's been pain-free, healthy this year.
Bounced that pitch, but I think you look back to 2017 for Zach as a positive, just to come back, pitch a little bit, get his 80 innings, and go into 2018 with at least some confidence that he was able to get back and be pain-free, as you said.
Well, the split finger has also been a pitch he's added that has really helped. It's given him an off-speed pitch.
On to a full count here on VR. Mentioned the walks for Wheeler. They've gone down so drastically from where he used to be. Bouncing ball finds a hole off the bat of VR.
And Alexis defense for the Mets. Batista at third base. This is his 9th start at third base. He's had the lion's share in right field. Reyes, his 15th start at shortstop. And out in the outfield, Austin Jackson's kind of taken over center field. And you've got Conforto where he belongs in left field. He's much more adept in the corner outfield position. Better defensive outfield than they've had all year long.
So now Renato Nunez stands in with VR at first. VR can run 62 stolen bases a couple of years ago. That led the National League. Since that big season, really that 1 year when he had 62, still carrying him to the top 5 in all of baseball since then. Starling Marte on that list, not a guy you'd think about as a base stealer necessary.
I have kind of a thought about the lack of stolen bases in today's game, and I just wonder, you know, if agents are saying, you know, don't do more chance of injury, you wear yourself down, you know, don't have to steal 70 bases a year.
High fly ball off the bat of Nunez. Plenty of room in straightaway center here. Austin Jackson makes the catch. VR will tag and advance to second.
Well, we've seen it happen in the first inning. Both squads. This shouldn't happen here. And he just did not get in the position to throw. It was a high fly ball. And you saw his reaction. He knew it. That's just taking advantage of, that's a little bit of laziness right there, not running back. Inciarte does that so well for the Braves. He never takes a fly ball for granted. He runs back deep and then comes in to get the ball in a position to throw. He's the best at it in the National League.
The Orioles get an extra base. Here's Adam Jones.
He's also a Gold Glover too.
Inciarte and Jones. Jones has won 3 of them. Those days in center field for the Orioles seem to be over. He's a right fielder now. He has expressed strongly his desire to stay right here in Baltimore. Jones has done a lot of damage in a Baltimore Orioles uniform. 261 home runs, our Ford leaderboard. Most home runs of the current team, 4th most in baseball behind Votto, Braun, and Miguel Cabrera.
Braun missed some playing time too, serious playing time.
He did. Got popped.
Yes, he did.
Cabrera's had some injuries last couple of seasons.
Oh, right in the kitchen. 2 boring fastballs inside. He's got that fastball that runs into right-hand hitters. And it's 97, 98. It just establishes inside. It opens the whole outer half of the plate for him. You find out who wants to stay in and who doesn't.
See if Wheeler looks away here. Jones laid off.
Right now, Zach is having trouble with his secondary pitches. He's not getting his breaking stuff over at all. Hasn't found his rhythm with that yet.
Wheeler's been a lot better in his first innings of late. Just been better, period. Looked towards second, but nobody really close to the bag there. McNeil wasn't on approach. Take a look at what Zach Wheeler has done for the last few months. 5-0 in his last 5 starts, but a 2.88 ERA over his last 13 outings.
So that tremendous pitching. There's 6 no decisions mixed in there. The club not scoring runs for not only DeGrom but for Wheeler as well.
Hit hard by Jones in the gap in left center. VR scores. Jones thinking about 2, but Jackson gets it in. RBI single for Adam Jones. And Baltimore on the board in the first as well.
Well, Jones swinging a good bat. And the fact that Zach hasn't been able to zero in on his breaking stuff kind of puts him in a position here to go to the fastball. Now, I don't care how hard you throw. Big league hitters can hit the fastball. Most of them, the good ones.
Adam Jones, who will be on the bereavement list the next few days. Getting it done for the Orioles in this series. Mark Trumbo takes ball 1. Jones has to attend a funeral, so he won't be with the team starting tomorrow. Well, Trumbo battling a sore knee. He's trying to grit it out. Orioles team has hit very well since the All-Star break. Best batting average in the major leagues since the break. They've scored a lot of runs already in this game. Way more runs scored than the last time Wheeler and Bundy faced off at Citi Field on June 6th when Baltimore won 1-0. Will Buck Showalter be back next year? That's a big question hanging over the head of this organization right now.
Another slider way off, not even close. This is the first time in a long while, quite a few starts, that watch Pilecki here, nice block. But it's the first time that Wheeler has come out of the chute really searching for it.
Found the outside part of the plate to Trumbo. Wheeler has been so consistent. A total of 4 earned runs allowed in his 4 starts since the break. Had that 23-inning scoreless streak broken in his last start against the Marlins with a 2-out homer in the 7th. Zach has certainly found his groove. Everything really stems from getting that first pitch strike for him.
Well, what did Tom Seaver say? The most important pitch was strike 1.
Zach Wheeler has proven that right his last several starts. Trumbo slaps one to Brandon Nimmo. 2 down as Jones gets back to first. Nothing good for the Orioles except their batting average since the All-Star break. All the players they had traded, they got roughly 15 minor league players plus some international bonus pool money back for those 6 that were traded away.
I would say it's a team in transition.
And does that transition include Buck? Does that include Dan Duquette, the GM?
Yep.
The Angelos family will have to decide that soon.
Good fastball. That's what I like. Before, when Zach didn't have it, they would still want him to throw the breaking ball behind the count. Now he hasn't found his breaking ball. I'm going to throw my fastball, get ahead, and hopefully find my rhythm. His fastball is his bread and butter.
Both pitchers laboring a bit in the first inning. Bundy threw 29 pitches. Next one from Wheeler will be 25.
And he's just jamming people to death. Right-hand hitters. That thing is just boring in right on their fists. Only one that got the barrel out was Adam Jones.
Well, Wheeler has not been giving up much hard contact, especially since the All-Star break. 4th lowest hard hit rate in the major leagues behind DeGrom, Syndergaard, and Mike Minor.
There's a slider way off the plate again. He just can't find it right now. You can see the expression on his face. You know what's going through his mind. Where is that release point?
Trey Mancini hits a rocket. Jones will advance to second. 3 hits in the inning for Baltimore and still threatening with 2 outs. As Chris Davis will bat after he had a couple of hits, including a homer last night.
Don't throw him the changeup. That's what he hit out of the ballpark last night. He's Island coming to the mound. This is a good visit right here. It's a good pitch right here. Low and away this fastball. Good hitting by Mancini. This is a good location. He's just right on it. Maybe it came back over the plate a little bit.
Bautista went in pretty late to talk to Wheeler. He's lucky he didn't get charged for a second mound visit there. You only get 6, Keith. Can't be running out there like that.
You know what? It's just all these new rules. I don't, players sometimes in the heat of the moment, you forget. I would forget those rules. I mean, it would take a while for it to sink in.
You went to the mound a lot as a first baseman. Would you have had? Would that have been difficult for you to deal with mound visit rules?
I would have had to curtail it. Absolutely, no doubt.
Chris Davis homered off of Bobby Wall last night, Keith.
On a changeup, Wall throwing hard. You got a slider speed bat, Davis. Why would you want to throw him an off-speed or secondary pitch? Just got to pound him hard. He's got a long swing.
There it is right there.
Yeah, he can't catch up to that.
Bobby Wall.
This one's right by him. I mean, the train left the station.
A rough homecoming for Bobby Wall last night from Springfield, Virginia. A lot of family here to watch Chris Davis hit a home run off him. A 30-pitch first inning for Wheeler as he's behind Davis, who strikes out a lot, right, Keith?
Oh, a little bit, but does not lead the American League. He's fourth.
Yohan Moncada, the young White Sox second baseman, has struck out 168 times this year.
And the big home run hitter, left-hand hitter in Texas,
Joey Gallo.
Yeah, he's third or second. Either way you slice it, it's a lot of strikeouts.
Over the last 7 years, including this year, Davis has struck out more than anyone in history during a 7-year span. 1,311. He beat Adam Dunn's record. Adam Dunn says you can have it. Just missed the inside corner. Davis also challenging another Adam Dunn record for the lowest batting average in a season with at least 400 plate appearances. Dunn's was 159 several years ago, and Davis entered tonight's play at 162. Runners will go on a 3-2 pitch.
Bring the cheddar.
He brought it, and Davis fouled it. Jeff McNeil is,
Deadpool
right
hitter.
field.
Yeah, well, Davis doesn't run well, and wow, that is extreme.
Runners go again. Davis strikes out again. 98 from Zach Wheeler finished him upstairs, and the inning is over. Baltimore settles for one. Bautista leads off to a chorus of boos. They still don't like him here.
And this inning kicks off with the 64th pitch of the game. Both pitchers really laboring.
That was a 33-minute, 63-pitch first inning. Jose Bautista has drawn a lot of walks as a Met, certainly, as a .351 on base percentage despite hitting just .202. We'll take a look at the Lowe's whole team together Mets RBI leaders for 2018.
Now, in all fairness, Asdrubal Cabrera's gone.
That's true.
But
easy out for Jones to retire Bautista.
Not a whole lot of production.
No Cabrera, that's noted on there. 58 RBIs while he was a Met. Conforto, the team leader, 42. No
Yes.
Cespedes, no Jay Bruce.
Right.
Well, Jay Bruce is playing tonight. St. Lucie at first base.
It'll be very interesting to see what the Mets do when he comes back. They're going to put him at first base.
Kevin Plawecki goes the other way, but it hangs for Jones. 2 quick outs for Bundy in the second.
The hits in the first inning, Mets had 3 of them. Good hitting by Nimmo. Look at that ball deep, lets it go in deep. This was the hit and run. You don't want to have your fanny flying out in a hit and run. This one is complete luck. Fooled, and you'll take it. One of those going, thank you, Lord. I'll take that, and it had a RBI in it, too. A ribeye steak. That is a sweet.
Jose Reyes hits a foul pop. Potential play for Nunez, and he makes it near the screen to end the inning. So Dylan Bundy, after a very long first inning, has a very quick second. We'll go to the home half. More staying in the Inner Harbor area. Not too far from Camden Yards, where the Mets and Orioles play tonight. Tim Beckham leads off the bottom of the second against Zach Wheeler. Dylan Bundy, 29 pitches in the top of the first, 7 in the second. Zach Wheeler had a 34-pitch first inning. We'll see if he can rebound as well.
We'll keep an eye on this breaking ball if he can find it.
Little tapper. Reyes to his left, spins, throws. Flores picks it, but not in time.
Well, nice play up the middle by Jose. And does the spinorama, as Gary would say. But his momentum going away from first base. Go get it, Wilmer. Get that arm out there and go get that ball. He beat it. Well, they're going to challenge this?
That seems to be the case.
What did you think, Wayne?
Thought it was safe at first glance, but we'll take another look here.
Let's see.
Slow it down a bit. It's a long bounce. Is that ball in the glove?
Oh, he's out.
Yeah, he actually is.
That is a good view right there.
And it's not when the squeeze happens. It's when the ball goes into the mitt. Doesn't have to have squeezed it yet. And when the ball went into the mitt, I think he seems confident after looking at the replay too that Beckham will be out at first. So Jose Reyes with a terrific play up the middle.
I'll say.
Wilmer Flores got the ball in time, it looks like.
Okay, guys. This just really just kind of disrupts the tempo of the game.
And he's out. Jose Reyes got a pretty fast base runner at first.
That's a heck of a play. Jose.
Cedric Mullins will bat. 6 for 16 so far as a big leaguer. As Mullins has taken over center field. A 1-minute review on the last out. Be pretty special, I would say, to push out a veteran player from the position that he's been in for 10 years with your team.
Well, primarily they said that Adam Jones has kind of lost a step or two, and you always got to be, the old adage is you got to be strong up the middle to win. That's catcher, middle infielders, and center field, and that's still the game. Is they're trying to change the game.
Little roller over third, base hit the other way from Mullins. He's fast, he's challenging Conforto, and he has a double.
Nothing you can do about this. That's just pretty good hitting the ball where it's pitched. So with a little bit of a, he's not a power hitter, what we've seen from Mullins so far. Kind of a little guy that'll spray the ball around. I wouldn't be inclined to give him too much playing for pull. I would play him pretty much straight up. If he's got the ability to do that, I'd be a little careful about giving him that left field line. Too much of it, anyway.
Austin wins the batter. Mullins, a guy in the minor leagues who certainly has shown a lot of extra base power. Now as a big leaguer, Mullins has 4 doubles out of his 7 hits. Austin wins 9 for his last 22 at the plate. That's just foul past third. Wins made his major league debut against the Mets on June 5th. San Diego kid went to the same high school as a guy you faced a lot, Keith. Dave Smith.
Yes, I did.
Astros closer.
Dave Smith was a premier closer and could not get any of the Mets out in the 80s. We gave him nothing but fits, and that was very helpful for us in that playoff in '86. Of course, because we came from behind in all those games that we won, the 4 games, except game 2.
He was not a hard thrower by any stretch.
He had a split finger.
Should be easy for Bautista, coast to coast with a very good arm. Jose Bautista might be advanced in years, but can still peg it. Now Jonathan Villar will be the batter. Villar led off yesterday's game with a base hit and today's. Yesterday got thrown out at second trying to stretch it into a double. Tonight he scored on Adam Jones' base hit in the first.
Good fastball inside.
See, Villar's got that extra protection along his face, that C flap. He never even had a flap at all.
Still have an issue with that breaking ball, isn't he, Wayne? Can't find it.
Sometimes slider's been non-existent tonight.
Sometimes you miss, you just miss. You're around the plate, but he's missing badly. So he's not close to finding it yet. He's going to hopefully, some point in the game, you find it. And if he does, it's usually lights out.
Tap foul from Villar. Spectrum high-speed pitch coming in from Zach Wheeler tonight. Backed it up to 98. Dylan Bundy used to throw 98. He's close to it. There's that breaking ball again, Keith. It is moving away from where Wheeler wants it. He hits Villar. And now the Orioles have a couple of men on for Renato Nunez.
Isn't it a funny game? He's been cruising all along. You know, how many times do we say over the course of our lives as baseball fans, growing up, and as me as a player participating and playing, that someone's got a run of 6, 7, 8 starts, and you go out there and you say, gosh, he's due for a bad one, you know. I hope it's not today, especially in a stretch run. And this is just one of those games. This is the first time in a long time that he is really looking like the Zach Wheeler of old, but he is pounding the strike zone with his fastball, where before he would just blow up.
It's been tough to hit against with runners on. Opponents won for their last 27 entering tonight. See if he can keep that going against Renato Nunez, who turned away from a fastball. Nunez used to be in the A's organization. Had some big offensive seasons as a minor leaguer. See the number on Wheeler. That's entering tonight.
Those are always good signs in a pitcher. Boy, this is a real slog for Zach.
This is kind of like the old Zach Wheeler. High pitch count early on. Gets that one over to make it 2-1. He has thrown a lot more innings already this year than last year. Talk about an innings jump from one season to the next. 86 innings last year. He's about to get to 136 this year. So that's plus 50 from a year ago. We'll monitor that, but like you said earlier, no real hard cap on his innings for this year. And you have to wonder as he gets deeper into the season, Keith, when that fatigue might bite him.
I don't get it. I mean, they're all in their 20s. I mean, it's not their fault. All these pitch counts have, I think, hindered their endurance. Now here's a good pitch to hit. Nunez had 2-0. You got a pitcher that's having a hard time finding the plate. You got men on base. 2-0. You're looking for a fastball. Nunez took it. Now it's 3-1. My gosh, you're sitting for a heater right here. You're going to drive in a run.
And Nunez late on that fastball. In 3-ball counts this year, Wheeler has held opponents to a 163 batting average, so he has not been hurt very much in these type of situations. Adam Jones on deck. If Nunez can keep the second inning going.
Runners will be in motion.
They take off on 3 and 2, and they'll have to go back to their bases. VR was sneaking up on Mullins. Had a huge break off of first. Couple of speed burners out there for Baltimore with 2 outs. Renato Nunez hitting around 350 this month. Valencia, Venezuela, same hometown as Wilmer Flores. Another chopper foul.
He's getting close for another 30-pitch inning here, Wayne.
17 foul balls against Zach Wheeler so far. It's just the second inning. Swing and a miss. That was the best breaking ball we've seen from Wheeler. Nunez chased it and Zach wiggles out of the second. No runs for the Orioles. Mets still up by 1. Top of the order for the Mets, still leading in this third inning as Dylan Bundy starts off Nimmo with a curveball for a strike.
That's the best curveball that Bundy's thrown.
Maybe these pitchers are starting to settle in.
Well, we hope so.
Couldn't get the call there. Nimmo had a base hit and a run scored in the first inning. Mets got 3 singles to plate 2 runs.
Another good curve. Oh, doesn't want to throw that one.
Well, you give up 29 home runs, you got to be sure about
pitching in this ballpark too.
Don't want number 30 to come.
And he's liking his curveball now. He's kind of found that little back door. Remember, left-handers have had their way with Bundy this year. 297 coming into the game, 12 home runs of his 29 given up. Fastball away.
And smashed the other way by Brandon Nimmo. Over to cut it off, Mancini. Nimmo wants 2, and a leadoff double for Brandon Nimmo.
That's just very sweet hitting right there. And that makes me very happy. That's just flicking the wrist right there. That's good, good 2-strike hitting.
Well, Nimmo is on, and here in Baltimore, a lot of baseball royalty. One of those men is standing by right now with Steve Gilms.
4-time All-Star, AL MVP, Boog Powell, the great Boog Powell. And Boog, I know that you'd love to talk about your great years a little bit, but it's a Mets broadcast. Are you okay with us talking about 1969?
Oh yeah. No, we don't have anything to be ashamed of, and that was a great year for the Mets. I just thought that in reality, if we'd have played them 100 games, we'd have beat them 90. But that didn't happen. We only played them 5 games, and they were the better team in 5 games. And they were a lot better than people gave them credit for. There's no doubt about that.
You guys were such an overwhelming favorite that year. You won 109 games. What did you think about the Mets? Can you remember what you thought about them going into that series?
Wasn't really sure what to think. I mean, we watched them in the playoffs and all of that with the Cubs and all of that, and we just said, and then they looked okay. And of course, we hadn't faced Seaver, but we saw Nolan Ryan, and we hadn't seen any of the other pitchers. And Milt Pappas was an Oriole pitcher. Of course, he was in the National League that year, and he was with the Cubs. And he lived here in Baltimore, and he came on our bus when we were getting ready to go to New York, and he said, "These guys are good. Don't take them lightly." And I don't think we took them lightly. I don't think we just didn't play well. That's all you can say.
Boog, you mentioned those great pitchers, and obviously they were such a huge part of the story. But you guys were also playing those games mid-afternoon, shadows everywhere. How much more difficult did that make facing that lineup of pitchers?
Well, you got Tom Seaver with a shadow halfway between the mound and home plate. It ain't much fun, especially when he's throwing you up here, and
especially the first time you're ever facing him, too.
First time I've ever faced him. That's right. And I think I struck out 2 times. I did get a base hit. He threw me a curveball, and I hit a curveball. Got a base hit on a curveball, and I had some swings. I know that if I would have hit them, they would have gone over the scoreboard and shed. They were but I didn't hit them. So, that's just the way it is.
Nowadays there's so much information out there, video, scouting reports. Yeah. What were the scouting reports like for guys like Seaver back in 1969 when you didn't have all of that?
Well, the scouting report is he throws hard, he's got a pretty good curveball, and if you can lay off his high fastball, you'll be in good shape. The big surprise, well, we knew about Koosman too, but Gary Gentry threw a lot harder than we thought. I mean, he really surprised me. I mean, I don't know how hard he was throwing, but he was really sneaky, and he was tough to face. And just a couple of breaks could have gone our way. It might have been different if Swoboda doesn't dive and catch that ball in right field, and Agee pulls one out of somewhere back out here in center field off Elrod, and it might have been different one game. But who knows? That's all we needed is one game. But I'm not doing anything to take away credit from the Mets. They were one heck of a team.
And you guys came back the next year and won the World Series. So how long did it take to get over that loss? And did you use that as motivation going into the next season?
Yeah, and it was, it's like when we were leaving, some of the Mets fans were screaming and hollering at us and carrying on, yeah, Bobby, and all this. And well, we'll see who's there next year. And anyway, I think that we all had something in our craw that said, nobody's going to beat us this year. We never talked about it, and we never said anything to each other about it, but we knew, and nobody was going to beat us that year.
Flores reaches first and third, 1 out. Best Earl Weaver story.
Wow. Oh, well, I saw Earl. I played with Earl in minor leagues. I played with him in Appleton, Wisconsin in 1960. And he gathered all of the bases up and put them on the mound. all 3 bases, picked them up, went and threw them on the mound, and tried to cover them up. He says, you guys can't see him anyway.
Would he have been the same guy now with all the replay and honestly the lack of managers' ability to go out there and argue with the umpires?
I think so. I think he'd have been run a lot. I mean, that's just the way he was. That was the nature, of what he did, whether he was doing it to try to get us fired up. And he used to tell me, he said, the reason I'm going out here is I'm going to get you some pitches. I'm going to holler at the umpires, and the umpires are going to call some balls that are close, and they're going to call them balls, and they might be strikes. I said, it's more like the other way around, Earl. I said, stay in the dugout. Then we didn't need you. We didn't need help. All you had to do, you could write that lineup out frontwards, backwards, sideways, any way you wanted, and we were going to win.
Boog, we think about 1969 in New York such a unique way. The Jets beat the Baltimore Colts, huge upset, right?
Oh, and the Bullets.
And then, right, the Bullets too. The Knicks beat the Bullets.
Right.
And then the Mets upset you guys.
Yeah.
What was it like in this city that year from the opposite point of view?
Well, I'll tell you, the response that we got when we came back from New York, that after we lost the last game, there was probably, I don't know, 10,000 people at the airport standing behind a fence. And as we got off the airplane, each one of us walked by that fence, and we touched all the hands that we could touch through the fence. And we were all crying like a bunch of little babies. I mean, and they were crying and we were crying, and, you know, we were saying, you know, well, wait till next year and all that kind of stuff. But I never heard anything negative here. People just said, okay, we were good and we'll get them next year.
Boog Powell, absolutely terrific. Thank you so much.
Very nice talking to you.
All right, great talking to you too. And guys, if you're ever in Baltimore, I mean, I know you two are right now. Boog's Barbecue right behind us. I might go get myself some of that right now. Wayne, Keith, back to you.
Oh, don't hog it, Steve. You know, we can use some of that in the booth.
Terrific interview. Terrific interview. And I was hoping that Gary Gentry would be mentioned, because Davey Johnson, I remember when he was managing us, he said the exact same thing that Boog said. And that was, heck, we heard about Nolan Ryan, we heard about Seaver and Kuzma, how hard they threw. And goes, and here comes this little guy, Gary Gentry, and he goes, he looked like he threw harder than all of them.
The great Boog Powell was a four-time All-Star. He won 2 World Series, just not 1969. Far tonight, Zach Wheeler has used up a lot of bullets for the first 2 innings. 56 pitches from Wheeler. Could use a quick one as Adam Jones starts the bottom of the third. He had an RBI single in the first. It was after the first pitch, so quick out here for Wheeler. So long as Wilmer Flores makes the catch, and he does. Last night, situation for the Giants and Dodgers. Yasiel Puig upset with himself that he fouled a pitch off that he should have hit. Nick Hundley, the Giants catcher, had some words for Puig. A shove, another shove, and the bench is cleared. Another chapter in the old rivalry between the Giants and Dodgers. Puig eventually chased down Hundley and slapped him in the mask. That was the biggest blow of that fight between the Giants and Dodgers last night.
Hey, listen, Puig is probably one of the more disliked players in the league, and obviously Hundley doesn't like him, and it looked good. Boy, they knocked Hundley right down there.
That was George Lombard, the first base coach, who took him down.
So, you know, I think there's just bad blood. Puig can bring that out. It's one of those guys that you play against that you don't like. Who knows? Who knows what he said? He didn't say anything to Hundley. He just.
So what is it Nick Hundley's business to get up in Puig's face?
Well, it is what it is.
McNeil down to a knee to catch the line drive off the bat of Trumbo. 2 quick outs. Trey Mancini will bat. Giants and Dodgers. Keith, you a San Francisco kid. What was that like?
Well, we watched on TV, and it was always the Giants battling it out then. The Giants were always called the bridesmaids to the Dodgers when I was a kid growing up in the 60s. That's true. Probably wouldn't call them that today. But anyway, you know, when you're playing in a rivalry like that, usually there's a little tension in the air. And I just think Hundley went after Puig. I mean, Puig just did nothing, but he fouled back a pitch, and he was frustrated and did something with his bat, like, you know, and then it just offended Hundley. I think Hundley was looking for something, and it doesn't bother me one way or the other.
Other players say in that rivalry that not only are they obviously local geographical rivals, but they play each other at every level in the minor leagues too. So by the time you get to the big leagues, you've already seen these guys for years. You're kind of just sick of each other.
I've never thought of that. You're right. They're in the Pacific Coast League, both AAA teams.
Zach Wheeler gets the quick inning that he needed. 1, 2, 3. Used about 7 pitches here in the bottom of the third. We go to the 4th in Baltimore. Been a rough night for the two starters in terms of their pitch counts, but limited the damage for the most part through 3 innings. As Austin Jackson starts the 4th against Dylan Bundy. Jackson skies one the other way. Long run for Jones as he can't reach it. And Austin Jackson's off to the races. Thinking about 3. Austin Jackson starts the 4th with a triple.
Well, Adam Jones has been playing a very shallow right field, and he got burnt there. As this ball's driven in the gap, it's hit hard, and you don't know if he's playing a normal outfield, he's going to make that play. But I've been noticing both nights playing very shallow and right. Now he's backed off.
RBI chance for Jose Bautista as he takes ball 1.
Jackson likes to go the opposite field. Hands back. Nothing wrong with that swing. There's not a lot of wasted motion on his take back. That's what you look for. And bat speed.
Bautista looking for an RBI. He'll get one. Jackson will come home as Jose Bautista floats a base hit to right center. The Mets add to their lead here in the 4th. They're up 3-1.
A little two-seamer. Wants to run it inside. Look at the catcher's glove. It got too much at the plate. And really almost beat Bautista, but strong enough to muscle it out to the right center field.
Well, we've seen both Jackson and Bautista go to right center. But that's supposed to be Plaw Alley for Kevin Plawecki. They want him to go to right center field. Pat Rossler, Mets hitting coach.
Well, he did last night, got an RBI single.
That's right. Says that's where Plawecki's going to be most effective as he bounces this ball to the shortstop. Beckham to Villar and over to Davis for the double play. The take on a driver on the majors brought to you by Audi as the Cubs won today. Got it back after getting knocked over yesterday. Cubs are 9-4 against Milwaukee. 3-game lead in the NL Central once again. The Cubs sport the best record in the National League at the moment. See if the Brewers can chase down the Cubs or maybe the Cardinals. St. Louis has won 7 straight. They're right there as far as the division and the wild card.
Yeah, they seem to have responded to the new manager.
Jose Reyes dips one into the corner. He'll get extra bases.
Another trip.
Might be. That ball stayed in the right field corner for quite a while. And Jose Reyes goes all the way to 3rd. The Mets all-time leader in triples adds 1 more.
Another fastball, and their Mets are still just bled out over the outer half of the plate. They're starting to tee off on Bundy. And that's going to get Roger McDowell out to have a chat.
It's the first triple this season for Jose Reyes. Number 111 as a Met in his career. Way ahead of the pack.
And I thought that when Citi Field was built and the Mets had their first season, I thought for sure that Jose Reyes could have had a real good chance to have 20 triples in a season with that big ballpark. The old ballpark, how big it was before they brought the fences in. It never happened.
Got to 16 in 2011. It's the most he ever had in a Citi Field season. He actually had 19 as the Mets last year at Shea Stadium in 2008. That's his career high. most of 2009, the first year of Citi Field. Reyes was not available. Only played 36 games that year. 2 triples in this inning against Dylan Bundy. Now the Mets team leader this season in triples is at the plate. Brandon Nimmo has 7. We've seen Nimmo go to left field so far in his 2 at-bats tonight with a single and a double.
And no alteration on the defense on the infield. Not the slightest bit. Still has Nunez at third base way in the hole. And I would be more inclined to shift over just a tad. Just, 3 feet. Cover that line a little more. Bring your shortstop with you to cover the hole. But they are wed to their spreadsheets. And so he's a guy that's pitched Nimmo away. The first 2 times Nimmo has shown really good hitting by getting those 2 hits. You see that Bundy trying to throw in, can't throw in. He missed twice.
Trying to go back inside. That time it worked for Bundy.
Yeah, it tied him up too. I mean, you've got to make, tactical changes in the course of the game. You just can't just go, okay, we're going to stick with this no matter what, and beat our heads against a wall.
Nimmo turns on one and gets a base hit down the line. It scores Reyes. And now Brandon Nimmo into second. He's 3 for 3. He has 2 doubles. Now a run batted in. And the Mets have a 4-1 lead.
Well, the fastball is just not getting it done for Bundy. The Mets are all over it. This is just nice hitting by Brandon. There's the level swing I want to see out of him. Wants up and in. Look at the target. Let's see where the ball winds up. It's going to bleed out over the plate. No, it got there. He's just not throwing it hard enough to get in. Then Brandon just launched on it.
Brandon's done a lot of work on those high inside pitches. They've given him trouble.
Or who knows? Maybe he looked in.
McNeil takes ball 1.
Remember what I always said, what I learned in my youth is that when you look in and you hit a ball hard, the pitcher doesn't know you're looking in. And that's because, oh my God, it's my best fastball. I can't get in there. But he doesn't know what your thought process is.
There's Evan Phillips throwing in the Orioles bullpen. McNeil swings and misses.
There's the side swing for Brandon here, sitting down like he does, widespread. Very little take back. That's a very, very compact swing. He needs to bottle that.
He has a lot of 2-strike extra base hits this year. Is it hard to find that power with 2 strikes when you're in that 2-strike approach?
You'd be surprised how many home runs you hit with 2 strikes because you're protecting the plate, and you just don't have faith in how quick your hands are. If you have a fast bat and someone tries to sneak one on you inside and you have a fast bat and you get the barrel out, that's the ball that goes the furthest.
All 3 of Nimmo's hits tonight with 2 strikes. McNeil has got the longest current streak in the major leagues of not striking out, but he flies out here with 2 strikes, and the inning is over. Mets get 3 extra base hits in the inning and 2 runs. They're up 3. Mets fans watch former Little League World Series stars Todd Frazier and Michael Conforto as this ball is belted into the corner by Chris Davis. One-hopping the fence. He'll get a long single out of it.
Yeah, no desire to get a double there. Absolutely no desire. I mean, just, you've got to put a little effort into that, don't you? Take a little hard turn at least. There's the swing right down the pipe down. He gets the barrel out. But this ball caroms up high, and he just had no thought. Okay, he's already dropped it down, downshifted. Not good.
Well, 310-foot single for Davis. Tim Beckham is the batter as he swings and misses. Beckham was thrown out by Jose Reyes on a very nice play up the middle in the second. Replay review busted him at first. Number 1 overall draft pick once upon a time, Tim Beckham. And Mets fans, watch former Little League World Series stars Todd Frazier and Michael Conforto and the rest of your New York Mets battle the Phillies in the MLB Little League Classic presented by Geico. Historic Bowman Field in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Catch all the action Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. I know the players really excited about getting out to Williamsport.
They got to make those copies a little longer. You were rudely interrupted by that.
I was.
By that 318-foot single.
I was. Chris Davis, it's your fault. I tried to get Chris Davis on my radio pregame show today, but he declined. So you graciously accepted to be my guest.
Oh, I was second. I was your second choice.
That.
You're lucky I didn't know that. I would have blown you off.
I didn't say that. You're always my first choice, but I know you're busy.
Boy, you just contradicted yourself.
You get to the ballpark around a time where I'm needing to have that be done. That's really the problem.
Well, this game is just kind of eking along here. Both pitchers really in deep counts. So Wayne,
yes?
You do the pregame.
I do.
You do the postgame, which we already talked about last night, which I enjoy listening to. What is your prep? How do you make your choices for? Is it always a player that you have for a pregame?
It's not always. Sometimes it could be a coach, as Tim Beckham draws a walk. 2-on for the Orioles here in the fourth.
What do you look for when a team comes in? Do you look for a visitor more than the home?
Well, no, it's probably about 2/3 Mets and then a third of the other team. I really just want to get someone who, if it's the other team, someone fans know, and Chris Davis would have been a good example of that. Somebody that Mets fans already have heard of and might want to know more about.
And do you have a list of what you would consider a player that's a good interview? Do you look for that? And if you get a player that's kind of a dud, do you stay away from him?
Yeah, you try to stay away from the duds if you've heard of it.
But suppose he's
sometimes you don't know
a good dud. You know, he can play. He's red hot.
Yeah, well, that happened to me earlier this year in Atlanta. And Ozzie Albies was a dud of an interview, but he's having a great season. This one fouled right underneath our booth.
So this has got to be a good little change for you, right? I mean, this is
nice
break, get away from the norm.
I enjoy my time over here.
Well, you're always in the room next at home. You're always in the room right next to
Howie and Josh are doing the game. Yep. Unless I'm filling in over there.
Well, that's way up.
Loecki's going to have to wait for it to come down, and he makes the catch in foul territory to retire Mullins. A big out for Wheeler after the first two reached. Now Austin Wings will bat.
Ed Lynch tells a funny story with Bob Murphy.
That's Howie and Josh had a match. Chris Matchkowski.
There's Madge. I dined with Chris and you in the eats room, the press room.
You had a small meal today.
I had the ice cream. But Ed Lynch told a story. Bob Murph came down. He had a bad cold. And Ed had just pitched a really good game. And it was when the Mets were terrible. And I wasn't on the team. And Murph came up to him and said, you know, in a real gravelly voice and weak, and he goes, Ed, you know, you did a great job yesterday. Would you do the pregame with me? And Ed said, "Sure, Murph, absolutely." And Murph goes, 3, 2, 1. "Hello, everybody." Ed said he about fell off his seat. I don't know if that was funny, but I thought it was funny. Only Ed can tell those stories.
I've heard maybe thousands of Bob Murphy stories since I've been a part of the broadcast crew here. And each one's better than the last one. Some of them aren't for air, Keith.
I can always stumble in around 2 o'clock in the morning or 1:30 on my way home. Ground ball should be 2.
Bautista had some trouble getting it out, but they still turn it over. McNeil gets the double play on Austin Wynns. Started by Bautista. And Zach Wheeler gets out of it. 2 on, nobody out. The Orioles don't score. Afternoon's game against the Phillies is this week's MLB Facebook Watch game. Catch all the action exclusively on Facebook, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Follow MLB Live on Facebook to access the game on your favorite device. That's game 1 of the doubleheader tomorrow. Game 2 will be on SNY. But game 1 is on Facebook Watch. You can only watch the game. It's exclusive on Facebook. Can't watch it anywhere else but on Facebook Watch tomorrow. That's game 1 of the doubleheader. Wilmer Flores goes after the first pitch here in the 5th. Tim Beckham takes a look at the commissioner's signature and tosses it across to Chris Davis.
Used to be in my day the league presidents.
Yeah, you had to read what, Leonard Coleman.
I go back as far as Chubb Feeney. I go that far back. Chubb Feeney was in Lee McPhail was the American League umpire. President.
Yeah,
those two. I remember my first All-Star game. They were both there. Representing their leagues.
Another first pitch swing. This one from Conforto.
Should get out.
A couple of rows behind.
When I came up, Shad Crawford was still umpiring, and Ed Sudol. Those are the old guys I used to listen to. Russ Hodges and Lon Simmons in San Francisco with the Giants on the radio, and they'd always announce, like we do, the umpires of the game. So it was Chris Pellicutis. He had retired, but Shad Crawford was still umping, and Ed Sudol.
I feel like umpires aren't as famous as they used to be. Like Joe West now. Angel Hernandez is famous for,
Oh, you can put an IN in front of famous.
Check swing. Conforto looked bad on that one. And he struck out 3 times tonight. He was 0 for 4 yesterday. Suddenly, Conforto, who'd been rolling, has gotten to Baltimore, and he's been pushed over a little bit.
Tough night for Michael. He's been chasing a lot of bad breaking balls.
Todd Frazier bats with 2 outs. Some umpires that have passed on, including Doug Harvey, who was a great umpire and the best of all time.
The DR is Dutch Rennert, one of the terrific umpires.
High fly ball off the bat of Frazier. That one is gone. A home run as Frazier just put it out of the reach of a leaping Trey Mancini. And Todd Frazier having a good night. 2 hits. An RBI single and now a homer. The Mets up 5-1.
Well, taking advantage of that 364. Home run number 12 for Todd. Fastball right down the pipe. He does stay level. I mentioned earlier how he dips a little bit, but he gets on top of this one.
Swing and a miss by Jackson. A lot of extra base hits for the Mets tonight. They've had 5. The home run by Frazier is the 30th allowed by Bundy this year. It's the most in the majors. Now Jackson slings one to right. Jones a long way to go, but he's able to track it down. And the inning is over. Todd Frazier has the 41st home run hit by a Mets DH, the most in interleague. Zach Wheeler misses to Jonathan Villar, beginning the bottom of the 5th. Some credit for Wheeler. He has not had his best stuff tonight, but he's only allowed 1 run in 4 innings.
He issued his first walk last inning, which, before he's been struggling with his secondary pitches. He would be in trouble, but he's gone to his fastball. Boy, it's nice to be blessed with a fastball like that. That's one of the few off-speed pitches he's thrown. I don't know if that was a splitter or it was the changeup.
Wheeler threw 56 pitches the first 2 innings, only 20 total in the 3rd and 4th.
Oh, we threw that one by him. He's been throwing inside. He's got that inside corner to both left and right hand hitters, and it's just very effective for him, for any pitcher that throws hard.
To the fastball there. It has been a steady diet of fastballs tonight. The slider was kind of ineffective early on. He's only thrown 10 of those.
But this is a good sign for me that he's getting smarter, realizing what he's got in this particular start, that he doesn't have his breaking ball, and going predominantly to his fastball.
There's the curve, only the 9th curveball he's thrown tonight. As Wheeler with the 1 walk. This will be the 5th straight start where he's had exactly 1 walk. He has really been effective with his control, his command. Got a ground ball off the bat of VR. McNeil takes care of it. 1 out. For more on Zach Wheeler, here is Steve Delbs.
Wayne, I asked Dave Island recently if there was a particular moment that was a turning point in Wheeler's season for him, and he said absolutely. It was early May, a start against the Colorado Rockies at Citi Field. Wheeler gave up 8 earned runs in 6 innings and was kind of perplexed after the game because he felt like he was locating. So he went to Dave Island and he said, those pitches were where I wanted them to be. Why were they getting hit? To which Island responded, yeah, you were locating, but you were throwing 91, 92 miles per hour. He goes, why are you sitting there if you've got 96, 97, 98 in the tank? You have to really figure out who you want to be, and you have to commit to each and every pitch. The next day, they started working on that, and pretty soon after, Wheeler's velocity started to tick up. He didn't take any pitches off, and really, he had a couple of bumps after that, but for the most part, he's gone straight through and hasn't looked back.
Well, that's called good coaching right there. And I always said the most important coach on any baseball team is the pitching coach.
Dave Island has a particular no-nonsense way about him. He's very matter-of-fact. He's gotten through to Wheeler, and he's gotten through to Steven Matz, who we will see tomorrow as part of the doubleheader. Nice breaking ball there from Wheeler as Renato Nunez strikes out. Plawecki finishes the play at first. That's the 3rd strikeout for Wheeler, who's in his career at roughly a 2.25 to 1 strikeout to walk ratio. He's been 5 to 1 over his last handful of starts. 4 walks in the 27 innings entering tonight, just 1 in this game. Trying to make it 6 consecutive victories for himself and 7 for the team while he's been on the mound. He settled in nicely after a rough first couple of innings.
Just wonder how far they're going to go with him. 88 pitches. I'd like to see. I know they're on pitch counts. I'd like to see him at least get 6. Don't want to be a 5 and fly.
Sure, Mickey would like that as well. If Wheeler can get the win tonight, it would be his 6th in a row. 5 wins in his last 5 starts. Only had 5 in his previous 35 starts. See what Wheeler has done in his last 13. The 5 wins.
Look at the walks. Really, that's the big key.
10th time in Major League history a pitcher has won 5 consecutive starts after winning no more than 5 of his previous 35 starts.
These pitchers have entirely too much time on their hands.
Well, DeGrom, you know, he's had a good season. He could flick some sunflower seeds if he wants to. What else do you want him to do?
You know, it's boring for those guys to watch. You know, they got to sit for 4 days.
Yeah, really.
They should come up here.
Might be 5 days if the Mets go to a 6-man rotation like they've kicked around, with Matz coming back tomorrow. They want to keep Corey Oswalt in the rotation. They want Vargas to extend himself. Of course, you got DeGrom, Syndergaard, and Wheeler rolling, so they might just roll with 6. In which case, they might have to be creative, because they also have to worry about DeGrom's Cy Young candidacy. And he can't pitch every 6th day and win the Cy Young. He's got to stay on a 5-day rotation. Two 2-0 on Trumbo.
Okay.
Is this a StatCast thing? The distance on the sunflower seeds?
Is that all they're trying to do? They need a goalpost there. Try to kick field goals. Flick field goals.
That was a good one. Bouncing ball for Jose Reyes. Handles the high hop. Retires Adam Jones at second. And Zach Wheeler is through 5 with the lead. His starter friends are flicking sunflower seeds. Jose Bautista takes the ball to start the 6th against Dylan Bundy. The way these two pitchers racked up pitches early on, it didn't seem like either would see the 6th inning, but they've both made it.
Well, it's a big difference. One's given up 5 runs and the other one's given up only 1.
Yeah, Dylan Bundy has allowed 10 hits, 2 triples, 2 doubles, and a home run. Our guy Eric Hornick says that the last time the Mets had 2 triples in an inning was July of 2013 against the Giants. Eric Young Jr. and Marlon Byrd. Talked a lot about the efficiency of these pitchers, as Bautista swings at a good breaking ball there. Ball got away up the first base line, so Bautista decided not to challenge it, as Bundy and Wheeler will take a look at their takebacks of the baseball, Keith.
We mentioned earlier, watch on your left Bundy cup his wrist and how much lower he is to the ground, his arm, his hand. And Wheeler on the follow through, look how much lower Wheeler is, and the fact how much further behind the arm action of Bundy is compared to Wheeler. But boy, Zach really gets down low.
Both of these pitchers have had Tommy John surgeries. One has bounced back seemingly better than the other. Bundy really in his 3rd season since coming back from all of his injuries.
Look at this freeze on the follow through, and look at Zach, who's almost wrapping his throwing hand on his hamstring. And look at the elevation too. I mean, there's a lot more power in Wheeler's motion.
Jose Reyes, a triple and a run scored his last time, his first triple of the season. Reyes and Austin Jackson each tripled in the 4th inning. Mets have not had a game with 3 triples in it since 2009. Reyes and Jackson have combined for 182 triples in their careers. They each got their first one of this season tonight. Tanner Scott is throwing in the Baltimore bullpen. Reyes sends one toward left center. Mullins a long run as he reaches out and drops the baseball. Plawecki was stuck at second, so he'll only get to third. Reyes ends up with a double. That could have been the third triple of the night for the Mets had Plawecki been able to take off, but he had to wait to see if Mullins would catch it or not.
Well, Plawecki has got to be on a ball hit like that deep. It's got to be on second base. And this guy ran a long way. They say he can go get him. He had it, but it's a correct call. With the contact of the wall, he dropped it. Oh, he never had it. Got a little bit worried about that wall. And there that wall said, hello, how are you? And let's see Plawecki. Let's see what he does here. He should be in a play like this on second base or one step around the bag towards third. Nothing. Well, there's no reason to really speed up going home. You're assuming it's a catch. And you can wait and make sure of the catch. There's no chance at left center field he's going to double you off at first base. But
Buck Showalter is out to the mound. Dylan Bundy will be pulled. With Nimmo due up, Tanner Scott will enter the game for the Orioles as the Mets try to add to their 5-1 lead. But he's been pretty good at stranding inherited runners. Mets have 2 in scoring position for Brandon Nimmo, who's had a good night, 3 for 3. Orioles are 5th in the major leagues when it comes to stranding inherited runners out of their bullpen. Pretty weird for a team whose bullpen has not been very good overall. Whose pitching staff has largely not gotten the job done. A couple of Seinfeld cast members in the Orioles dugout, one here in the booth. Baltimore second in the major league, second worst. Kansas City holding them up.
Wow. Can you imagine playing behind those two teams? Pitching's the name of the game. All those teams are at the bottom of the barrel.
That's true. The Mets only scored 4 runs in their first 3 games this year against Baltimore, but an outburst so far tonight and looking for more.
There's Roger.
Roger on Seinfeld. Buck was on Seinfeld. You.
Roger was the second spitter.
Nimmo goes the other way. That's 4th hit of the night. Mancini couldn't get it with a dive. Plawecki and Reyes score, and Nimmo might get another triple. It's his 8th of the year, his 2nd in as many nights. 2 more RBIs, and Nimmo has made it 7-1.
That is sweet music to my ears to see this kind of hitting. Going with the pitch, left-hander. Well done, Brandon. Maybe we're turning the corner on all this. Home run, strikeout, happy baseball.
Those runs charged to Bundy. He's on the hook for all 7 tonight.
Oof.
3rd 4-hit game in Nimmo's career. 8 triples. He's among the league leaders in that category. Here's McNeil.
The ball that you hit deeper in the box is the ball in the outside corner. Look at that. He's hitting it right up at the plate. That is just beautifully done. And we talked about, that's going to be foul. We talked in the open about Nimmo hitting leadoff, how he's got the on-base percentage over around 370 coming into this game, doing much better in a leadoff role as opposed to Rosario. But Brandon's more of a table setter. Does not have to hit home runs.
So a single, 2 doubles, and a triple tonight. A home run would give him the cycle if he got one later.
Well, he will definitely get another crack. Okay, we're talking about the ball getting deep. This is a good overhead here. Look at that. Right there, you see it. He's hitting it right. That ball is traveled over the plate when he made contact.
Infield in for McNeil, who is 1 for 3 tonight.
Well, we're getting a little look at the real Orioles here.
Finally.
We're understanding why they've lost 84 games, on their way to 85, probably, more than likely.
That ball gets away. Nimmo's on his way to the plate, and it's 8-1. It was ball 4 to McNeil, so he's at first after a walk. And a wild pitch brings home Brandon Nimmo. 3 runs in the inning for the Mets.
Boy, oh boy.
The Orioles 3-0 against the Mets entering tonight. 6-6 against the Yankees. They've had their way with the New York baseball teams. A quarter of their wins this year against the Mets and Yankees. For the Mets, the first time in a game where they've had 3 triples since 2009.
I wonder what's going through Buck Showalter's mind, what he's thinking.
Elmer Flores with a high fly. Mullins makes the catch for the second out. As the Mets lead 8-1, we go to the studio. We say hello to Doug Williams. Doug, thank you very much. Acuna had a leadoff home run in each game of that series. 3 in a row. First time in National League history. Leading off tonight, Jose Urena threw 97, hit him in the elbow.
Well, I was kind of waiting for that to happen.
Isn't it one thing to throw inside and another to just flat out hit a guy who's...
As long as you don't throw at the head or the neck, I haven't got an issue with that. What are you going to do? Let him swing and get the 4 home runs in a row in 4 games?
Get him out.
You gotta knock him down. I know it's not part of the game today, but this is not a gentleman's game.
There was a little scuffle after that happened. The bench is cleared for a little bit. Second time in as many days there's been a bench clearing in Major League Baseball. We talked about the Giants and Dodgers earlier. No shift for Conforto, who has not made contact tonight. Lefty-lefty against Tanner Scott. It's 3-0. But to me, I think you want to throw inside, you want to back him off the plate, that's fine.
Would you want to flip him, or would you knock him down? Or are you just throwing inside to make him move his feet?
Any of that's fine. Flat out hitting a guy because he's been crushing you, I think that's a cop-out.
You think it's a cop? Well, Wayne, that's why, Wayne, you got the microphone in there. and the headphones, you know, not a hat, a baseball hat. You got a guy out there killing you. You've lost 3 games.
Right.
He's hit 3 home runs. You got to hit him. I'm sorry. I mean, people are not going to like that. But, you know, you got to hit him, knock him down. At least, I mean, seriously, knock him down if you don't hit him. And you never throw at anybody's head. You never throw at anybody's head or neck. You hit him in the back, you hit him in the fanny, and he goes to first base on whatever he wants to do.
And Urena did that. He hit him around the back. As Buck Showalter makes a pitching change here, Tanner Scott was largely ineffective. 3 of the 4 men he faced reached. So Buck goes back to the bullpen. We go back to commercial. Evan Phillips is the new pitcher, 23 years old. Drafted by the Braves initially, but grew up a big Orioles fan.
He's one of these guys that came up to fill the void. All the trades they made at the break, got rid of dumped all their bullpen.
Yeah, one of the 15 that they got back. His trade was the one that sent Kevin Gossman and Darren O'Day to Atlanta. Todd Frazier hit a home run his last time. He has 2 RBIs in this game. Now the count 1-1. We were talking about Ronald Acuna, the Braves getting hit by a pitch to start the game against the Marlins tonight. A clear purpose pitch from Jose Urena. Well, what's the impact of that for a guy like Acuna?
Well, you find out. I mean, I know that some people out there aren't going to like what I said, and maybe I'm a dinosaur. There was a code that if you threw it at a hitter, then there would be retaliation throwing at the best hitter on the other side. Now, I never understood that because the other hitter on the other side had nothing to do with it. I always said throw at the pitcher. You know, he threw it. Drill the pitcher. You want to hit our players? Okay, you're going to get hit. But that was the written code, and it happened to me where I got hit in a Met uniform. We got in a couple throwing matches where someone got hit, and I was the one that got hit, and I accepted that as okay. I expected it. I got up to the plate and knew I was going to get hit, and I got hit, and I took my lumps and went to first base, and I never got hit in the head. I got hit in the head once, and that wasn't purposeful. That was a wild pitcher that hit me in the head. It doesn't matter where he hit me. He hit me in the back, in the butt. You know what's coming. You're ready to kind of back off and take it. In today's game, they don't throw at hitters. I don't think the hitters know. So they don't know how to get out of the way of a ball or know it's coming. And you hit 3 home runs, I'm sorry. You got to go down. You're going to lean over the plate? You're going to let them put a whooping on you? It's not going to happen. But I know that happens in today's game. And obviously, you've got there's the Marlins. I'm sure Don Mattingly ordered that. I don't think the pitcher out there did. I'm not today's pitchers. There was a day when you didn't have to tell a pitcher. If he was getting his fanny kicked, he would knock someone down. They're playing the Cardinals, excuse me. So you got 2 teams fighting for a division and fighting for a wild card.
Right, they're playing the Marlins.
They're playing the Marlins. I'm sorry. So you got I got messed up there. So you've got a team that's out of it, that's retaliating, and that's just part of the baseball code. If someone's hitting home runs, they're leaning all over that plate. I'm sorry. I'm not going to let you do that. Here's one in your ribs or on your back, and let's see if you stay in there the next time. And that's just my strong feeling. And I'm sorry if that's offended some people out there.
With the runners going, a long run for Mullins, and that ball's off the wall. Frazier's going to knock home 2 more. McNeil and Conforto come home. It's a 4 RBI night for Frazier and a 10-run outburst from the Mets. A 6-run inning.
Wow. They are lighting up to this bullpen end of the Orioles here. This game is out of reach.
Austin Jackson takes ball 1. As Todd Frazier has driven in 4 tonight. The Mets have poured it on here in the 6th.
Now, Wayne, I'm not advocating hurting anybody. I've emphasized there's never a reason to throw it from the neck above. You just don't do that.
Right.
Those headhunters are guys you hate, and you remember them, and you get a chance to get them, you go after them. That is, to me, is a taboo. That is a line drawn in the sand, and you don't knock someone down with the intent to hurt him. You're just sending a message. Hey, I'm not going to let you do this to me.
Acuna did leave that game with an injury. I mean, a 97-mile-an-hour fastball That doesn't feel good, regardless of where you
doesn't. An 88-mile-an-hour fastball doesn't feel good if it hits you in a rib.
Braves hope that Acuna can get back in. He left in the second inning tonight, as Austin Jackson swats one foul. The Mets have kicked the door open against Baltimore tonight. Ton of extra base hits. Buck Showalter has seen this story before. Nimmo has 2 doubles, a triple. Frazier has a home run and a double. Jackson a triple. Reyes a triple and a double. We're on cycle watch for Brandon Nimmo. Might get even 2 more at bats the way this inning is going.
Right now the Orioles are just hoping to get a 3rd out in this inning. This has been a nightmare. Now, this game will do that to you. His line is not going to be pretty in the paper tomorrow.
It sure isn't. 7 runs, 11 hits, and 5 1/3 for Bundy. That's how it's been going for him lately. 7 starts since coming off the DL. They have pretty much all been lousy. A lot different than what we saw at Citi Field in June, where he tossed up 7 shutout innings. Jackson late on that fastball, but got a piece. 10 runs on 13 hits for the Mets. Roger McDowell has had. You can only work with what you got, right, Keith? You can't. If you've got guys who are young or maybe not experienced enough or not talented enough to be here, what's a pitching coach to do? Ball 4 to Jackson as he draws a walk. The Mets have batted around here in the 6th.
Wow.
Bautista will be the 10th man.
Well,
Bautista does not have a hit tonight. One of just 2 Mets who doesn't. Conforto's the other. He was hit by a pitch earlier in this inning that started the rally. Reyes followed with a double, and the Mets went on from there. Nimmo tripled, couple of walks. Frazier doubled, another walk, and here's Bautista again. And here's Roger McDowell again. Quick word for Evan Phillips. So Roger must have seen something to burst out of the dugout after the first pitch of an at bat.
this has been a nightmare inning. If you're a Met fan, it's been a wonderful inning. I don't see any of the Oriole fans leaving the ballpark.
Well, it's a nice night.
They're here to watch baseball.
Actually, a decent crowd here tonight.
Yeah, it's a very good crowd.
A bit bigger than yesterday. Mets will fly to Philly after this one's over. Should be, what, a 18-minute flight or so to get to Philadelphia from here. 2 games tomorrow, then Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Williamsport. Bautista and Conforto will be back, where they played in the Little League World Series. Frazier and Conforto, rather. Frazier in 1998, Conforto in 2004. Frazier hasn't been back. Neither one has actually been back to Williamsport since then, so it'll be fun for those guys. For everybody, really, to interact with the kids that are there playing in the Little League World Series as Bautista walks.
Wow.
The merry-go-round continues. Bases loaded for Plawecki. Road ahead for the Mets. We talked about the Phillies and that Facebook game tomorrow. That's game 1 of the doubleheader. Next week, the Mets back home with the Giants and Nationals. Bautista's day is done. I said before that Bautista was one of 2 Mets without a hit. That was actually Plawecki and Conforto without a base hit. We get to see Jack Reinheimer make his Mets debut. Reinheimer pinch running for Jose Bautista. We have not seen Reinheimer yet. He's been on the roster for a few days, replacing Luis Guillorme. It's 2-0 on Plawecki. Phillips is all over the place. Gave up a double to the first batter he faced, then 2 walks. His former Met, Sean Gilmartin, throws in the Baltimore bullpen. Finally, a strike from Phillips. Everyone appreciative of that. Jack Reinheimer, pinch running. He's played in a couple of big league games. Has not had a hit yet at the major league level. So we'll see his first at bat as a Met later on, it appears. Plawecki sends one in the air, way back to left. A grand slam for Kevin Plawecki.
Oh, boy.
A huge inning for the Mets. 9 runs here in the 6th to make it 14-1.
Oh, here comes Buck again. This is a stampede. Well, this is a no-doubter. Right down the pipe. Bell tie. Oh, boy.
Mets pouring it on. Former Mets Sean Gilmartin enters when we come back. Jose Reyes swings at the first pitch from Sean Gilmartin, 2015 New York Met. With some of 16 and a little of 17 as well, but Gilmartin was on the roster a lot in that 2015 season. Remember, he was a Rule 5 pickup. The Mets had to hang on to him all year, and he was effective that year.
Here's a granny right here. There's it right. Oh, baby. Right down the middle. A little above the belt.
It was a no-doubter. 9-run inning.
Oh, there's some ERAs getting a serious hurt.
Reyes taking a shot at the left field corner. Deep down the line, and that's a foul ball. Reyes with a little golf shot. Trying to hook it around the foul pole. Reyes is batting above 200. Keith, that's the first time this season.
He's off the interstate for the first time.
Mendoza line passed.
I don't like to call it the Mendoza line. Mario was a nice guy.
So somebody you don't like that hit under 200 that we can peg
No,
on?
I don't know how Mario got that designation. There's a lot of guys that were hit below 200, but it stuck on Mario, and he was a terrific guy with the Pirates.
You want to call it the Chris Davis line?
I call it the interstate.
Ah, the interstate. I like that. It's Chris Davis. A rough year for his batting average. And for Reyes too, but Jose Reyes has gotten it above 200 with his 2 hits tonight. Now he's got to keep it there. Out goes Beckham, the shortstop, makes the catch. And the inning is finally over, but the Orioles used 4 pitchers to give up a total of 9 runs. 4 of them off the bat of Kevin Plawecki, and no doubt about it, grand slam to make it 14-1. 14-1. Mets with a 9-run 6th inning. They have 9 extra base hits tonight. Ties a season high that they set in Cincinnati on May 7th. Well, you and I did that game together too, when the Mets had all those extra base hits against the Reds.
I tend to forget those games, but not because working with you, but those games that are just, you know,
the blowouts.
The blowouts, I tend to forget them.
There were only 4 hits for the Mets in that 9-run inning. Jerry Blevins will try to maintain this 13-run lead.
Well, Jerry's got his ERA down below 4. It was up above 5 at one point, so he's kind of made a late charge here.
Trey Mancini looks at a strike from Blevins. See if he's somewhere else by August 31st. Still a possibility. Mets could make a waiver trade with Blevins. Hit hard, and Mancini dumps that one over the new third baseman, Jack Reinheimer. Mancini has a base hit. Here in Baltimore, the birthplace of George Herman Babe Ruth. And a museum right near Camden Yards to commemorate Babe's life, his childhood home. That was the bed he was born in that you saw.
Oh.
There's the Babe.
There he is. That's the first big league game he played. He hit 9th. And pitched. We all know that Babe was a pitcher. And look at the dad on the right. Look at the resemblance. What's he got in his left hand?
The Bambino. Born right here in Baltimore. Pretty cool museum and a statue.
Oh, wonderful. He should. That's right. He's a proud Baltimore citizen.
You know, Baltimore has more statues and monuments per capita than any U.S. city.
Say that again?
They have more statues and monuments here per capita than any U.S. city.
Let's see what he did there. He flew out to right. He popped out to third.
Oh, I see a 1-3 in there.
Is that? I don't know what the third at bat means. It might be an F9 or an E9.
Yeah, it looked like a fraction.
And then 1-3. That's how the guy kept score. 1-3. But ground ball back to the pitcher.
I got that. Well, what's the 6th inning there? That third at bat.
I'm trying to figure that out. Is it an E9?
It must be because the guy after him, the top of the order, batted in that inning.
Right, because he'd have made the third out. You're right. Good call.
You know, baseball was 2 words back in these days.
So this is very interesting that Babe would have kept his first game as a scorebook. Someone kept score, probably, I would assume, a family member, and he kept that. So very nice. I don't know any of those names.
Not quite Murderer's Row. And why they have Babe inning 9th, even if he was pitching?
They didn't know what they had.
Got a self-scout better than that. Chris Davis had a Ruthian 2013 with 53 home runs. Still got the power. We saw that last night. Out in front of that pitch from Blevins.
Did we mention Mr. Wheeler's line here? He's out after 5.
Ruth's rookie card from the International League. Forbes says that's the most valuable card in the world.
Wow.
I gotta say too, our director in the truck, John DeMarsco, was actually there today.
Yes.
And took a lot of these pictures.
So John took all the photos, and Babe is definitely a pitcher there.
Blevins up and in, gets it by Davis. First strikeout for Blevins on the night.
Up and in, he's going to have problems. That uppercut like that.
Jerry Blevins in relief of Wheeler, who allowed 1 run in 5 innings. 5 hits, couple of walks, 3 strikeouts. Thought Zach did a really nice job gutting through a night where he did not have his best stuff. And certainly the run support helped as the game went on here. He probably would have gotten another inning had this been a closer game, but with the score out of reach, Wheeler's got his 5 innings and well on his way to his 6th straight win. Weak swing there by Beckham. Blevins ahead of Beckham 0-2. Beckham walked his last time. The Orioles made the playoffs in 12, 14, and 16. Won 75 games last year. They were actually in it till late in the season last year. Had a rough September as Beckham strikes out. And this year has been, probably go down as being the worst they've ever had in Baltimore. In 2016, Buck got a lot of heat for not using Zach Britton in that American League wildcard game against the Blue Jays. It went late into the night. And Buck used 7 relievers, none of them named Zach Britton, who was probably the best reliever in baseball that year. Was waiting for a lead that never came. Cedric Mullins, a switch hitter. It's about right-handed for the first time tonight. Nimmo comes in, waits, and retires Mullins to end the inning. Leadoff knock against Blevins, but that was all. The Mets still up by a baker's dozen. Brandon Nimmo's got a chance for the first Mets cycle since 2012. Needs a long one. He's got the triple, 2 doubles and a single. Lefty-lefty against Sean Gilmartin. Four for 4 is Nimmo.
What a night. There's the first one. He flicked it up the middle there and a ball away. And then that's perfect hitting right there on a ball in the outside corner. Going right down the line. Then he'd coming inside because he's hitting the ball the other way. He pulls it. Then they go away, the left-hander. That is beautiful. And let me tell you, he hits like this, he's going to hit in the top of the order, and he's going to have a lot of success.
Now he gets hit by a pitch, so he'll be on base for the 5th time tonight.
Well, there goes.
Sprints to first.
That may cost him his cycle.
I think he's going to get another at bat. We're only in the 7th. Nobody out on top of that. He's the leadoff man in this 7th inning. So, barring a double play and no more base runners, he will get another opportunity unless they take him out for whatever reason. I don't think they will because Mets don't have a very deep bench. They've already put Reinheimer in the game. McNeil slaps one toward left. Mancini makes the catch over near the line. Now Wilmer Flores, the batter. Mets tying their season high with 14 runs tonight. Also did that April 29th against the Padres. Zach Wheeler pitched that game as well. Wheeler in line for his 8th win. He'll tie Syndergaard for the team lead. the Mets after tonight. 19-19 over the last 38 games, Keith. A team that has played .500 ball now for a month and a half. Far cry from their rotten June.
That was a June to forget. That was an astounding month. The ways they found to lose ball games. It just really put an end to the season. Everything went wrong in that month.
This one in foul territory, and it's caught by Chris Davis. Wilmer Flores fouls out. 2 out in the inning as we take a look. Another drive around the majors. Seattle dumped Oakland on a 2-run homer in extra innings by D. Gordon. The Mariners have the most extra inning wins this year. Edwin Diaz has a shot at the all-time single-season saves record. He's at 47 already.
That was a well-pitched ball game, obviously. Robinson Cano returned to the Seattle Mariners after serving his 80-game suspension.
So Seattle is 2.5 behind Oakland now. He's only a game out of first entering today's play. Houston has gone 6-8 since Jose Altuve went on the disabled list. So the Astros a little banged up. They have started dropping some ball games. Springer's on the DL, McCann, Lance McCullers.
Well, Altuve and Springer are coming off the DL pretty quickly, and they need them in that lineup.
There's the record of late, still the best ERA in the American League, but all those guys on the DL. Some key players for Houston. Still in first place, but that lead has shrunk. The A's right on their heels. Seattle not far behind. It's an interesting race out west in the American League.
Well, what's happened with Houston is that Gurriel is a really fine hitter, and without those guys in the lineup, he has really struggled. He's been mired in a real bad slump. And so I think the players start returning for Houston. I think they'll start firing on all cylinders. I mean, they've got a fine ball club.
Tough to repeat. It's been a long time since there's been a repeat champion.
Look at the troubles the Dodgers are having. And there's so many variables that happen that why is it hard? It's not the fact that the players don't perform. Injuries to key players. Everything goes right for you when you win. The Dodgers last year, all their little bit players had fine seasons. They didn't do it this year.
Conforto rolls one, but Davis with a diving stop. And he robs Conforto of a base hit. Conforto remains the only Met without a hit tonight. The rest of the group has had a bunch. As Chris Davis lays out to retire Michael Conforto. Stretch time in Baltimore. Tim Peterson on the mound for the Mets.
Tim Peterson right there, his numbers. Having a little bit of got off to a hot start. Been struggling a little bit lately.
Little blooper dunks in for Austin Wins. His hitting streak is at 8. There's the bird.
Well, down 13 runs.
I like the stirrups on the bird.
Yes.
It's nice. Looking like Boog Powell. Oh, some shade to that Mets fan. Oh. For the love of Pete. High drive off the bat of VR. Jackson right in front of the wall, hauls it in. The foul behavior of that bird on top of the dugout. Look at this guy. Let me get this guy a name. His name's the Oriole Bird. It's not very creative.
Seriously?
Yes.
I didn't know that. It's not very creative.
There's Renato Nunez. Renato might be a nice name for the bird.
Well, now the crowd has diminished.
Will this bother you, Keith?
No, it's too far out. Even if he was, your focus is so much on the pitcher. No, nothing. You've got tunnel vision. Trust me.
Even with him flapping his wings like that?
Tunnel vision.
Was Fred Bird around when you were a Cardinal?
Yes. He made his debut when I was a Cardinal.
What does he do?
And Tim McCarver once famously said, "What does he do?"
Well, what does he do? At least he has a name. Fred Bird.
Mm-hmm.
And like the Oriole Bird was back there, marching around. What does that mean? He's trying to put some voodoo on Tim Peterson. I see the Philly Fanatic and all his tricks tomorrow.
Yep, it's one of those games, folks. But the Mets are on the winning side.
And Peterson walks Nunez. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Budweiser, the legendary lager for legendary moments. By Spectrum. Hey, Mets fans, get the best TV, internet, and voice service today at Spectrum.com. And by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com to learn more about our powerful lineup. Jace Peterson, the pinch hitter for Baltimore against Tim Peterson.
This is almost one of those games where I want to quit keeping score.
That'll mess your book up.
Let's just say it's a lot sloppier.
Peterson batting for Jones. You may remember Jace Peterson when he was an Atlanta Brave. Geico Sports Night after post game. Sam Darnold potentially starting tomorrow. Response to a cheap shot from Eli Manning, and Aaron Judge slow to return for the Yankees.
What was the cheap shot?
That's a foul ball. I think it was from Jalen Ramsey. Is that right?
Oh, from Jacksonville. The defensive back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's an opener. That's the home of the Giants home opener, correct? Against a good team.
Jaguars.
Strong defense.
Yeah, they went pretty far last year. Almost got to the Super Bowl, in fact.
They blew it.
They did. I think everybody thought the Eagles were going to in the Super Bowl, but they didn't.
No. Eagles were clearly the better team.
Peterson hits a pop-up. Infield fly rule in effect as Jack Reinheimer makes the catch. Well, Maryland known for crab cakes, Keith.
They're the blue crabs, right?
Known for that too.
I actually had a crab cake sandwich. Oh, look at that.
Sandwich?
Yes, I did.
Was good.
Yum. I mean, those crabs were just minding their own business.
Yeah.
Look at them now.
They're on that tray, on the platter. A Maryland specialty. Mark Trumbo bats with 2 on. Mets blew this game open with a 9-run 6th inning. Well, maybe we'll see a position player pitch tonight. It's been in vogue this year. That one got a piece of the mask of Plawecki, it looked like. Plawecki's got one of those new style masks that catches that sting and reverberates it back the other way. A roller foul from Trumbo. Tim Peterson on the mound for the Mets. Mickey Callaway continues to get looks at young relievers, waiting for one of them to stick out. As you see the mask, see those springs in the mask.
Right. A little compression there. Absorb the shock.
Tyler Flowers and a company that he uses, creating that. Trying to limit concussions for catchers. Now a quick message from your Tri-State Porsche dealers.
That's the fastest read in town.
Is that Nimmo in that Porsche?
That's a nice ad.
Trumbo with a base hit the opposite way. Around third, Wins comes home. Nunez advances to third as Trumbo gets an RBI.
Boy, you watch Trumbo run to first base. He is really hurting. He got an injection in that knee, cortisone, I'm presuming, and he is really. I'm surprised he's still in this ball game.
Let's see if they make a move now. Apparently not. Trumbo's going to stay in and run after his single made it 14-2.
You can check it out for yourself. It's obviously he's in a lot of discomfort. I'd get him out of the ball game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he looks to be in pain. Plawecki taking a little beating here. I guess some revenge for the grand slam he hit in the 6th inning. Big night for the Mets offense. 14 runs is tied a season high with 9 extra base hits. Brandon Nimmo's a home run away from the cycle, and as long as he stays in the game, he is guaranteed to bat at least one more time.
Oh, he got the cue ball and got him in the hip. And that mask doesn't protect the hip. That got him in the bone. That hurts.
Ricky out with Joe Golia, one of the Mets athletic trainers. Give Plawecki a little time to catch his breath. Sometimes it's not so fun behind the plate. Did you ever catch? You were lefty. I guess you probably never did. But even like Little League?
Nope, never caught. I played second base once.
Did you have to turn a double play?
No, I didn't, fortunately. Because how would I? That's a difficult turn, don't you think?
Yeah, you got to really like angle your
You'd
body.
have to do the
spin around.
spinorama.
Right. That's in there from Peterson. Strike 3 called. As Mancini strikes out and the side retired. Peterson gives up a run. The Mets still with plenty of breathing room. And SNY MLB insider Andy Martino bring you a way too early look at what the Mets 2019 lineup may look like. Plus all the latest on the GM search. This week's Shea Anything podcast. Search Shea Anything and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Cody Carroll is on the mound for the Orioles.
Well, another one of these pitchers just recently called up, 5th game. We mentioned earlier that pretty much at the trade deadline, the Orioles basically unloaded their bullpen. That is Brock, Britton, Gaussman, O'Day, all gone.
Todd Frazier goes after the first pitch. That's Joey Rickard making the catch on the warning track, as Frazier was bidding for his second home run of the game. Left it just a little short. As we go to Steve Gelbs, whose report tonight is brought to you by Volkswagen.
Well, Wayne, are you excited right now? This is a big moment for you.
Yes.
Okay, it is your first official Facts of the Franchise segment in a broadcast that you're doing. Let's do it Orioles style. And listen, you know, Keith, you're a big jersey guy, okay, a big uniform guy. So let's talk about the Baltimore Orioles road uniforms, because in 1972 they made a change to those road uniforms. It went from saying Baltimore across the chest to saying Orioles across the chest, and the reason for that is because the Washington Senators moved to Texas to become the Rangers. The Orioles ownership wanted to take that Washington fan base, so they didn't want to say Baltimore across the chest. They just wanted to be the Orioles. But when the Nationals came back to town, they've now switched back, and now again it says Baltimore across the road uniforms on their chest.
Interesting. Usually most teams have the name of the city on their road uniforms.
Yes.
And their home uniforms have their I guess, was it logo or nickname? So, you know, there's always the Maryland flag. They're very proud of that here. But you know, Mets at home. We were New York on the road.
Phillies have home and road both saying Phillies, right?
Yes. No Philadelphia on the Phillies jersey.
That's right. That's a long name.
Yeah.
Well, San Francisco. I always thought San Francisco on the road grades for them. The Giants was fantastic, and it had like a bridge span too. Art. The Dodgers have Los Angeles on the road.
Yes. I like it too with the city or state represented. The Marlins, I think, for a while had it just say Marlins on their road uniform. I think now it says Miami. Actually, they have theirs that say Miami at home too. That's confusing to everybody, including this guy who's, well, blue and orange does go together, so he's got that part right.
Hey guys, do you want one other fact? Are you open to another
Steve,
fact?
oh yeah, go ahead. Come on,
Right,
shoot.
it's facts of the franchise here. So, Baltimore Orioles, we know why they're called the Baltimore Orioles, because the Baltimore Oriole is the Maryland state bird. But why is it the state bird? Well, if you're a history buff, back in the 1600s, Lord Baltimore is the founder of the state of Maryland. And there was a local bird that was the Oriole that was both orange and black. First career hit for Reinheimer right there. I don't want to get in the way of that, but the state bird, the Oriole, is orange and black, and Lord Baltimore's coat of arms, his family coat of arms, was orange and black, so they named that bird the Baltimore Oriole.
Nice. And Jack Reinheimer has his first major league hit against Lord Baltimore and his Orioles as Todd Frazier retrieves the baseball. Jason Vargas teases throwing it away. For the old looping breaking ball to Rosario, and on it goes into the Mets clubhouse for Reinheimer.
Oh, congratulations. That's a good pitch, too. Nice hitting. Fastball knee-high outside corner.
Kevin Plawecki takes a strike. So every Met that has played tonight has a hit except Michael Conforto. He'll hopefully have another chance later. Plawecki's got a grand slam, his only hit. Steve out of facts. Is he done? All right. Well, thank you, Steve, for your facts of the franchise of the Orioles.
Do you know that in at least in my neck of the woods, Steve?
Oh, hi, Steve.
Steve, you look like you're in jail.
I mean, I'm underground. I'm really.
Looks like you're in a bunker.
Steve, was that a pick or a scratch that we just caught?
No, it was a scratch. It was underneath, actually. It's the sweat on my the upper lip.
Plawecki strikes out.
The Orioles migrate out at least in May, I believe. Late May.
Yeah.
they come in. They Sag Harbor.
This year.
They come out to Sag Harbor, and they have a distinctive tweet. They're not on Twitter,
right?
And you know that. I know the sound, and they're there for around 2 weeks, and then they go. Where they go, I have no idea. And there, look at all those logos.
A lot of birds, except for 1963. They just had the bee for that 1 year.
Right.
Where'd the bird go? I don't know.
I like the full bird.
I know you do. You like the
black hat, the solid black hat.
Yeah, you're not into this pinwheel style hat they're wearing now. The gray hat in the mid-90s there. Wonder why the 99 through 08 bird is facing upright more. The other bird is lunging forward. These little subtle changes that teams make to their logos over the years.
There's a reason for that too. These subtle changes, 98 to 2011,
yeah.
They were really working to get the exact look of the bird. It was a very serious thing.
Well, why the bird lunging forward as opposed to standing upright?
Wayne, stop asking me so many questions.
He's tweeting.
Oh, the bird's tweeting? There's the kind of cartoon bird that they use now.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that.
And then there's the bird Keith likes.
Yes. They're a beautiful bird, by the way, I'm telling you.
They are a very pretty bird. Very vibrant color.
Only the male Oriole, though, is orange and black. Did you know that?
Well, how would you know if you saw a female Oriole then? You would.
Where are we going here? This is funny. What's the score?
14-2, and that's how we'll stay as Jose Reyes grounds out to end the inning. Mets don't score. We go to the bottom of the 8th. There's the bird, the cartoon bird. It's the one Keith doesn't like. We're almost having a big night. Tim Peterson's first pitch of the 8th was a strike to Joey Rickard, who is batting for the first time. Orioles made some changes at the top of the inning, including Rickard playing left field. Trey Mancini now the first baseman as Rickard goes the opposite way. Brandon Nimmo retires him. Jack Reinheimer got his first big league hit tonight.
Congratulations. That's one he'll never forget.
We're in 72. Carlton Fisk would be proud of that Reinheimer hit. There's Tim Beckham, struck out his last time. Swings the first pitch. Jose Reyes slings it across, and there's 2 quick outs for Peterson here in the 8th. Tomorrow at SNY, this is game 2 of the doubleheader. Coverage begins at 7 o'clock as the Mets are in Philadelphia. Steven Matz and Corey Oswalt are the starting pitchers for the Mets in their 2 games tomorrow. Phillies will definitely have Zach Eflin pitch one of those 2 games tomorrow. Big pitching matchup Friday night, Syndergaard against Nola. Aaron Nola has had a fantastic season. Jacob deGrom, who is right there with Nola, and Max Scherzer for the Cy Young talks against Jake Arrieta Saturday. Sunday's game in Williamsport for the Little League Classic, as the Mets and Phillies will head up Sunday morning to get to Williamsport for that game Sunday night. Should be an interesting weekend with 2 games tomorrow, then trip outside of Philadelphia for that last one. Flores with the backhand with a bad throw. Popped it over Peterson's head, who was trying to cover. And Mullins is aboard.
Nice play to get there, Wilmer, but he had time to get set and not rush the throw.
Mullins is on, and Austin Wynns will bat. A rare imperfection from the Mets tonight on what has been a terrific night for this ball club, a team that Had not scored many runs against the lowly Orioles pitching staff this year. Only 4 in their 3 games, but it all evens out, right? 14 runs. As Wynn strikes one fair past a diving Reinheimer. Over to third goes Mullins. He'll be waved home. Throw to the relay from Reyes gets away. Peterson backs up home plate. As Wynn gets an RBI double. The Orioles get another run. Back-to-back hits with 2 outs here in the 8th.
Oh, this inning should have been over. It'll be an unearned run. And nice backing up of home plate by Peterson, but that's baseball 101. He should.
They did give Mullins a hit.
They did? Oh, my word. Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding.
Okay.
Well, joke around like that.
That's an earned run then.
Mets and Phillies tomorrow. Back to that doubleheader tomorrow. The Phillies have Wilson Ramos on their roster. He was long a Met tormentor when he was with Washington, so the Mets will have to deal with Ramos again now that he's a Philly. Ramos had a big night tonight in his first game as a Philly. Philadelphia trying to hang in there as far as the wild card spot is concerned. They've got it for now, but they've lost 5 of 7. Aaron Nola's had a huge year. Phillies' rotation has been very good. And they've got a new catcher now with Wilson Ramos behind the plate. 3 extra base hits in his Phillies debut. First player to do that for the Phillies since Ed Freed in 1942. Phillies leading the Red Sox 7-3 tonight at Citizens Bank Park. 2-2 on VR. Steven Matz will be back off the disabled list tomorrow night. That's looking forward to getting him off the DL as this ball is hit a long way by VR out to Utah streets. Jonathan VR has hit a home run.
Well, hitters are just teeing off right now. They're going all out. Either striking out or the bomb. This game's out of reach. Well, I've seen a few comebacks like this, but not very many. That's a
split finger.
Oh, yeah, split finger that didn't split.
And scramble for that ball outside. Renato Nunez looks at his strike. It's 14-5. Drew Smith is up in the Mets bullpen. I will say this. Talk about comebacks in a game like this. Remember that Cleveland-Seattle game in 2001 where
such a rarity.
Cleveland can't be happy. You have to go back 18 years or 17 years to even think about the last time. Diving stop by Reinheimer. His first big league hit. His first highlight reel defensive play. Renato Nunez robbed by Reinheimer as we go to the 9th. Apple, thank you very much. 10 cycles in Met history. Mike Wright on the mound for the Orioles. Brandon Nimmo will not have the 11th.
But he'll have a base hit.
And yes, he will.
A perfect night.
5 for 5 is Brandon Nimmo on base 6 times.
That has got to be his first 5 for 5, and those are hard to come by. Congratulations. That is quite a feat for a hitter. Only pulled 1 ball the whole night. No fly balls, line drives.
Outstanding night for Nimmo. The Mets have had a very good offensive night overall. Now Jeff McNeil with a high drive to center. Mullins makes the catch. Nimmo retreats to first. Now Wilmer Flores, the batter. Been a whole ton of 5-hit games in Mets history, 34 of them, including Nimmo's tonight. Last one was when Wilmer Flores had his 6-hit game in July of 2016. Nimmo's got the only 5-hit game that's also included a hit batsman in Mets history. You had 3 5-hit games as a Met.
I did. Really?
Right? Yes. All of them were within 2 months of each other.
I was red hot. What year was that?
85. Beemore loves Flores. Well, it's not everybody loves Wilmer Flores. Who's that guy in the O? You had August of 85, September of 85, October of 85. Expos, Padres, Cardinals.
Well, if 5 for 5 was that last game of that big series in St. Louis, I went 5 for 5. I remember that one.
It was probably the last game of the season that year.
That was the big series that we went in there, and Darryl hit the home run off the clock to win the first game. Darling matched up against Tudor. Then we won, and Doc won in game 2. We closed it within a game, I believe. That's gone.
Off the bat of Wilmer Flores, and the Mets have a new season high in runs scored. 16 against the Orioles.
Well, another high fastball, inner half, and this is just hanging slider. Wow. How do you keep a straight face?
16-run outburst for the Mets tonight.
Well, at least we'll get out of here quick. There won't be a big crowd. A lot of traffic getting back. You're going with the team.
I am. I'll go to Philly.
I'm going to overnight with a few of the guys here and head up tomorrow.
Long night for the Orioles. That ball's ripped. Conforto trying for his first hit of the night, and he'll get it. Every Met has a hit. VR knocked it down, but could not retrieve it from there. $18 hits for the Mets tonight.
Boy, they're just teeing off. Hit ball 8 up VR.
Now Frazier, 4 RBIs, a homer, a double. First time the Mets have had this many runs in a game since August 24th, 2015 against the Phillies, and they had that 8-home run game. David Wright hit one that night.
You got a better memory than me. This is just a shellacking. It's not going to help the Baltimore's ERA for a team.
No, it is not.
It's going to be well over 5 now.
Not a good night for the Baltimore staff. Todd Frazier at the first Mets homer tonight.
Got a fastball. Just over the 363 sign.
This one is popped up. Mancini giving way to VR, and it's the second baseman who's got it. Watch SNY Mets games on the go on any device. Live streaming presented by Verizon. Just visit SNY.TV or download the NBC Sports app today for live streaming coverage of every SNY Mets game. Mets have tied their record for the most runs scored in an interleague game. 16. Also did it in 2011 against the Tigers, 2013 against the Twins. Another base hit. Austin Jackson goes the other way.
Wow.
Maybe Nimmo will get another chance here. People's United Bank tonight starter Zach Wheeler overcame a shaky first 2 innings to get through 5, allowed only 1 run. He'll be the winner tonight. Dylan Bundy, more of the same, what he's dealt with lately. 7 runs, 11 hits. For Wheeler, this will be 6 straight starts with a victory.
This game needs to be put out of its misery.
He's going to go for 20 here.
This is a pummeling.
16 runs, 19 hits. Reinheimer a little bouncer. Nunez gloves it and throws him out. 2 more for the Mets in the 9th inning. 3 outs left to get for a series split. Perfect night. Beautiful night for baseball. Great ballpark. And your team just scored 16 runs.
Well, Drew Smith comes in, only his 8th game, and the Mets are pretty much in the same situation. Although, as far as the bullpens are concerned, a lot of guys getting looks. I think the Mets have a little more talent in theirs than the Orioles. And we talked about the ERA, the Orioles team ERA coming into the game. Wayne, it was 5.01 after these 16 runs. It has leapfrogged to 5.10.
Drew Smith will want to get the Mets out of here with an 11-run victory.
And Wheeler will go to 8-6.
That ball smashed by Jace Peterson, a base hit. Drew Smith has caught the attention of the Mets coaching staff as far as the young pitchers are concerned. He's a guy that they've really had their eyes open to. Hard thrower. They really feel like he's got some of the better secondary stuff of any of the young guys that have come up. 24-year-old right-hander Drew Smith. StatCast AI powered by Amazon Web Services as we take a look at the shift for Mark Trumbo.
It's amazing that Trumbo's still in this game with that knee.
Well, Jones and Davis came out. I guess they had first dibs. I guess Trumbo has stayed in. Jones and Davis have been here the longest, so I guess that's how Buck does it. But Trumbo probably could have used the breather. There's Davis. There's Mr. Met. He's hanging out. He wants to see more runs, I think, from the Mets.
Oh.
16 was enough for Mr. Met. He's still wide-eyed and ready to go.
That might be the new rallying mascot.
Rally doll. Bring it to Philly. See if it keeps happening. The Mets will try to spoil the Phillies weekend. 5 games against their NL East rival. Steven Matz off the DL for game 2. We'll see Corey Oswalt. Again, that game tomorrow, game 1 of the doubleheader, is only on Facebook Watch. So you can only be able to watch the Mets game tomorrow, the first game of the doubleheader, on Facebook, as the NL East is tight at the top. The Braves and the Phillies. Washington is in trouble.
The Braves are starting to open up a little lead. I think they're the better team.
The Dodgers have lost 5 straight. They have not been able to get their ends of games figured out since Kenley Jansen went on the DL. Kenta Maeda blew it last night against the Giants. Trumbo's out looking. Good fastball from Drew Smith.
Okay.
Trey Mancini dumps one foul. Couple of hits for Mancini tonight.
Well, I don't think there's going to be any save opportunity tonight.
This one toward the corner. Nimmo watches it go out of play.
Oh, wow.
That's truly a corner.
That is interesting.
That is a corner. That's how you do it. If you want someone to go stand in the corner, that's where they go. Oh, camera's over there. Mancini laid off that breaking ball from Smith. I'm sure the Mets will have a few more young relievers that they bring to the big leagues before the season's over. Might see a couple of guys in September. Heard the names Daniel Zamora and Eric Hanhold tossed around. Zamora is a lefty who's racked up a lot of strikeouts at Double-A. Hanhold is at Triple-A. He was the returning player for Neil Walker in the trade with Milwaukee. Dave Island's had his work cut out for him this year. A lot of young pitchers now.
I'm just observing.
Yes, you are. That ball hit right to Flores. He's lucky he caught it. That was a rifle shot from Mancini.
Okay. 1 out away.
Mets will get a series split here in Baltimore. It's the 3rd straight full series played by the Mets without getting beaten in a series. Had the back-to-back series wins. As Jeff McNeil makes the catch, a sliding grab ends the ball game, and the Mets win 16-5. The biggest offensive outburst of the season. Brandon Nimmo was 5 for 5. He got on base 6 times. Mets hit 3 home runs, including a grand slam from Kevin Plawecki. Nimmo certainly the table setter tonight at the top of the order.
Well, it's very rare. It's very difficult to get a five hit day. 5 for 5. You're on base 6 times. Double, triple, 3 singles. Actually 2 doubles, excuse me. But Wheeler, who didn't really have his good command today, really righted the ship, stuck with his fastball, which is really exceptional. 5 innings, only gave up 1 run. He gets the win, goes to 8-6.
And tonight's game summary presented by Jim Beam. 16 runs, 19 hits for the Mets tonight. A career high 5 hits for Brandon Nimmo. Zach Wheeler earns his 6th consecutive victory to improve to 8-6 on the season. For every Mets win, the Mets organization is proud to contribute $2,500 to Northwell Health and the Cats Institute for Women's Health. For more information, visit northwell.edu/cats. This win brings the total contribution to $127,500 so far this season. New York Mets baseball and SNY is brought to you by Geico, the #1 insurer in the New York market. By your Tri-State Audi dealers, take a test drive today. By Altice One, enjoy the ultimate viewing experience with Altice One, only from Optimum. And by Hyundai, get a great deal more than a great deal on all new Hyundai vehicles. See your Hyundai dealer today. Final score at Baltimore, the Mets 16, the Orioles 5 at Camden Yards. Game 2 of the doubleheader on SNY after the conclusion of Game 1. The Mets and Phillies start a 5-game series. Game 1 will be on Facebook Watch. Gary Apple and Jim Duquette will have the post-game show next. For Keith Hernandez, I'm Wayne Randazzo. In for Gary Cohen, the final score, Mets 16, Orioles 5.